Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session today. With me, I have Sheena Yap Chan. Sheena is a Wall Street Journal, and also she's a publisher for weekly best-selling author. She's a TED speaker, TEDx speaker, keynote speaker, and strategist. And she's also an award-winning podcast recognized for her work in elevating women's leadership and self-confidence through the power of media and visibility. She is the founder of the Confidence Through Visibility movement and the host of Tao of Self Confidence podcast, which is ranked a top 0.5% globally with over 1.3 million downloads and 800 plus interviews featuring celebrity CEOs and also cultural icons. Sheena, the stage is yours. It's up to you.
Thanks so much for the introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Sheena Yapchan. I'm super excited to be here today to talk about visible confidence, and especially in quality engineers. It's so important to show up as a leader. It's all about more than having technical skills, of course, especially in the rise in AI. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started. One sec. So today's presentation is Visible Confidence in AI-Powered QA Leadership Beyond Automation. So here's me. My name is Sheena Yapchan. As I mentioned, I'm a Wall Street Journal bestselling author. I have a podcast where I've interviewed over 800 women on the topic of confidence. And for me, confidence is so important, especially in the times that we're living in the rise in AI. Skills like confidence, leadership, resilience is going to be needed now more than ever as we have a new technology that's ever evolving. So this is why talks like this matter so much. So the new era of QA, AI is reshaping quality engineering, right? AI QA includes autonomous testing, predictive defect detection, self-healing automation, AI-driven analytics. But with automation also comes with a new challenge, which is how do humans remain visible and influential in the process? So, AI is going to automate a lot of things. It's going to eliminate some of the manual processes that we've done. But, again, this is a tool like anything else, and it's going to need us to create that, and it's going to need people like you to remain visible, to be influential in this process, because without you, the standards of products and processes and services won't go as well without your input, without your skills, without your knowledge and talent. So I know sometimes we fear like, oh, AI is going to take over, but really AI is going to make things a lot better. Yes, it'll eliminate some things, but it will still, create new opportunities. Even if you see how many jobs are created or how many opportunities are created versus how many opportunities are eliminated, there's still a surplus. And so this is why having people like you is so important, to create that, to shape it, to be influential in this process, because it's not just about doing the work, it's also about being seen for your work to move into the next level. So here's the leadership gap in AI-driven QA. Technology is advancing faster than leadership practices. So common challenges include algorithmic opacity, reduced visibility of human expertise, difficulty explaining AI insights to stakeholders, and over-reliance on automation. So if you've gone through this, you're not the only one. Yes, automation increases efficiency, but leadership ensures accountability and trust. So it is important to have your leadership in this as, this new technology is growing. Yes, again, it's going to automate a lot of things, but it's still going to need a human touch, right? Everything happens through us. The tools won't work unless we put in the information, unless we put in the certain prompts to make it work properly, to make sure that everything is still running smoothly. And so, yes, again, there's going to be a lot of processes automated, but without your input, it's not going to work as well. So this is something that a lot of industries have been going through, right? They think, oh, AI is going to automate everything. They're not going to need our input, but that's far from the truth. They will need your input to make sure everything is running well, to make sure you have the best quality in your products and services. And so why does visibility matter more than ever? In AI-driven environments, visibility means making complex insights understandable, showing the human judgment behind automation, advocating for ethical and responsible AI use, and leading teams with confidence. So visibility builds trust in both people and technology. So this is why visibility is important. It's going to need our input. It's going to need us to also utilize AI in an ethical way, in a responsible way, because it's a tool like anything else. If you use it for good, good things are going to come out. But if you're going to use it for bad, of course, bad things will come out. So it's like the internet. When the internet first appeared, it was a new technology that everybody wasn't aware of, that was a little bit scared to use. But look where we are today. The internet has allowed us to connect all over the world, regardless of where you are. Like, I'm from Canada, there's some people from Europe, there's some people from North America. And without this tool, we wouldn't be able to connect in a way where we all can, just like with a click of a button, be able to connect with one another. And so, visibility is important. It's not just doing the work, it's about being seen, being also credited for your work, being able to share why the work that you're doing matters so much, especially in this ever-evolving world of AI. So I wanted to share a framework with you. So this is a framework that I've created. It's called the Visible Framework, and this is a leadership framework for thriving in AI-powered environments. So it's 7 pillars. It derives from the word visible, and each letter stands for something. So here's an overview of it. So visible, so like V stands for voice, I stands for identity, S stands for spotlight, I stands for inner work, B stands for belief, L stands for leverage, and E stands for elevation. And so visibility transforms technical expertise into leadership influence. So this is not just about having your technical expertise, it's also sharing your leadership skills, your talents, what you're able to bring to the table. Because again, as AI is rising and automating a lot of processes, the things that were once called soft skills are going to be the skills that we need: leadership, confidence, emotional intelligence, resilience. Those are something that we need now and beyond to move forward in this ever-evolving world of AI. So we're going to go through each letter so you can share, so you can understand more of how to utilize this framework. So we'll get started. So voice, communicating AI insights clearly, right? QA professionals must translate technical insight into business impact. So it's learning to share in a language that other people can understand, like the stakeholders, the clients, other departments. And it is important to share your voice, right? If you don't share your voice, nothing happens. I see a lot of people who come up to, I have a lot of people who come up to me and tell me how, they're afraid to share their ideas in meetings because they're afraid it might get rejected. And then they don't realize the person beside them has said the same exact thing and was praised for it. So be okay to share your voice. Be okay to share what you've been able to accomplish. If you have any new ideas, share it out. And if speaking out is something that you're still a little bit uncomfortable doing, then maybe start small, like writing an email or talking to just one person about it, right? Take it in small steps. But here's what strong leadership voice means: explaining AI results in plain language, framing insights around risk and value, speaking up about ethical concerns in AI workflows. So this is all important. It is important to speak your voice, even if it's scary, because if you don't share any of your ideas, then nothing happens, right? And you have to, it's important to share it in a way that other people will understand as well. So an example, instead of using the model flag anomaly clusters, you can say AI identified a pattern that could lead to critical defects in production. So it's just about also reframing the language to make sure that what you're doing and the work that you do and how you explain it to somebody else that might not understand the terminology, it will help them realize, oh, this is why you're doing it, to make sure the products are good, to make sure clients are happy, and things like that. But it is important to share your voice, to be clear. When you're clear, people can understand what you're doing, and they can connect with you more and relate with you more, and it can lead to other things as well. So don't be afraid to share your insights. Don't be afraid to share what you're doing, because without you, none of this would happen, right? You put in a lot of work, and it's important to talk about it as well. I is identity, owning your role in the AI era. So AI will not replace you as a professional, right? It amplifies the need for human expertise. So it's about sharing your experiences, your stories, how you're brought up, all those is part of your identity, and you bring a lot to the table, right? It's important to have diverse voices, especially if we want different solutions. It's important to have different solutions from different voices. They say insanity is trying to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different results. And so this is why showing up as who you are, your authentic self, is important. And I know that's probably said a lot of times, but um, now is really a great time to be able to show up who you are, bring your identity to the table, because especially as AI is rising, a lot of people are craving for more human connection. So being able to share your expertise, your lived experiences, how you're brought up, the values that you bring to the table is so important. And so, your identity now is from tester to quality strategist. You make sure that the quality of your product is up to par or even better, so that customers will be happy. And so you can help teams answer, can we trust the model? Are we testing the right risks? Is the AI decision explainable? So this is important because sometimes we think, oh, we just have a position, it's nothing really important, but it is important because what you bring to the table matters, right? You're making sure that the products are up to par, that they're up to standard, that they're working well, you're testing it out so that when the client gets it, it helps them, they're happy, right? And when you're happy, it creates a win-win situation for everybody. So don't be afraid to bring your own identity into it. Don't be afraid to bring in your human expertise, because again, AI won't work properly if you don't put in what you bring to the table, right? Again, it's a tool like anything else, and the only way it will work is if it brings your own identity, your values, how you're brought up, the solutions that you have, the things that you will bring to the table. S is for spotlight, making quality work visible. Now, I know sometimes when we're in a position, we just tend to do the work, right? We do the work, we don't say anything, we keep to ourselves. And I grew up in a culture where I was always told that if you do the work, the results will speak for itself, right? But that's not always the case. Like maybe 90% of the time, the work doesn't speak for yourself. So it is important to make sure your work is visible, to be seen by the right decision makers. Visibility isn't about being everything everywhere all at once. It's about being in front of the right decision makers, the right audience, so that you can move up if you decide to be in a leadership position. And so nothing happens if you just do the work and not say anything. In fact, I just watched a movie where, there was a girl in the office who was an accountant. She crunched a number, she did everything, and then she gave it to another person to bring to the meeting. And they didn't allow her to be in the meeting because they were like, oh, we only need certain people. But she was like, well, make sure that you tell them that I did the work. I put the post-it note on my name. And he's like, yeah, no worries. And instead of so in the movie, when she was able to see him go inside to that meeting, he actually took that paper, that little post-it note, and threw it out and took credit for her work. So this is why it is important to make your quality work visible, because you put in the work, you don't say anything, and then my biggest fear is always someone might take credit for your work, like what happened in that movie. Because you put in the frustrations, you put in the time and effort, and then if you don't share it, someone else might take your credit. So be okay to share your work, to share your achievements, because you deserve it, right? Again, nothing happens if you just keep it in the background. You have to learn to share what you've been able to accomplish. So like, I know the work that you do is often behind the scenes. So visibility requires showcasing insights in leadership discussions, sharing data narratives, not just test reports, highlighting the human judgment guiding automation. If people don't see the value, they won't understand the impact. So this is why it is important to spotlight your work. Spotlight it, share it with someone, share it with your superiors. I highlight this because I've seen so many people who think, if I just do the work will speak for itself, and that's not the case, unfortunately. So be okay to spotlight it. I is inner work, building confidence in a changing landscape. 80% of the work that we do is this inner work, building our confidence, building our mindset, working through things that stop us from moving forward. And so it is important to work on this every single day. The rapid growth of AI can create uncertainty. So inner work means staying curious and continuously learning, developing confidence in your expertise. And a lot of us think, well, I'm not an expert because I don't know everything. And that's fine. Being an expert doesn't mean you know every single thing. In fact, I talk about confidence all the time, and I still don't know any. I still don't know a lot about confidence. I still need to learn a lot, but I know a little bit more than everybody else. And this is what being an expert is, just knowing a little bit more than everybody else. So just developing that confidence every single day, and then reframing AI as a collaborator, not a replacement, right? A lot of us feel like, AI is going to replace my job. But if we learn to work with AI, it can actually help us, right? It can help us create more opportunities, create better opportunities, utilize it to solve, problems that we never thought was possible. I mean, AI can do so many great things when used properly. So when you can reframe it as your collaborator, so many things can happen. Leadership begins with internal confidence. So again, being able to work on yourself, being able to work on your mindset is really important, because what you put into your brain is really important. It's kind of like a computer hardware. If you feed it with good stuff, good things are going to happen. Good things are it's going to work properly. But if you feed it with a virus, what happens when your computer has a virus? It goes AWOL, there's pop-ups everywhere. You're going to, you're going to, it's not going to work properly. And so you have to treat your brain that way as well. Being able to read books, continuously learning your craft, utilize, like, playing around with AI to help you become that collaborator, right? When I first started utilizing AI, I didn't even know what a prompt was. I just knew that I had to learn to use this technology because it's here to stay. It's ever evolving. And if I don't learn to use it for me, then I'm going to fall behind. So I didn't know what I was doing. I just started utilizing it, and now I have like 3-hour conversations with my chat GPT. But the inner work is important. Again, building your mindset every single day, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, it's so important. Like coming into talks like this, being able to read books, surround yourself with like-minded people, listening to podcasts, listening to interviews of people who went from like 0 to 100. A lot of us have gone through struggle, right? Especially in the work that you do. I'm sure there's a lot of things that you have to like keep moving forward, doing a lot of testing. And we just keep moving forward because we want to get to that end goal, right? So it takes that mindset to do it. 80% of this work is your mindset, and then the 20% will be a lot easier when you build a stronger mindset. And, having a strong mindset doesn't mean that, you're going to be positive 100% of the time, because that's not real, that's unattainable. But when you're going through struggle, when you're going through challenges, you have the tools and resources to help you come out of it, especially learning to embrace uncertainty. Like anything can literally happen, right? And so when we can learn to embrace it instead of fear it, there's just so many things that we can do. So build that inner work, build that strong mindset, be okay to work on it every single day. It's kind of like if you want um, uh, if you want to work out, have a fit body, you go to the gym, you eat properly. Same thing with your brain, right? If you want a strong mindset, a good mindset, feed it with good things every single day. B is for belief, trusting your value in an AI world. Belief shapes how you show up as a leader. This is so important. You need to build on that belief, because without that belief, you're not going to go out there and take even the first step, right? You have to know that you're going to make it happen regardless of the situation, right? You don't have to know how you're going to get there. You know you will get there because you've done it before. You've been able to accomplish so many things in your life, and you don't even realize that, right? You can use the processes that you've accomplished stuff from before and put it into your present moment. So you do have value to bring. You have to build that belief on yourself. And sometimes we feel like we need to know everything first before starting, but really we just need to start. So like in my book, I talk about this process of ready, fire, aim. Start before you're ready, take action, and course correct as you go, especially in tech, right? You're going to go through a lot of failures, but it's good failures, right? It's failures is just feedback. It's going to help you get to that end goal a lot closer. And people in tech, the reason why they're so successful is because they embrace failure. They were able to just keep moving forward, even if times were tough, even if they were struggling. So when QA professionals believe in their value, they start to advocate for ethical practices, question automated decisions when needed, lead discussions about risk and trust. Without belief, people stay silent. With belief, they influence how AI is used. So it is important to build on that belief, because you have something that you can bring to the table that can make you know AI used in an ethical way, in a great way, in a better way, to solve the problems that we have, to make sure you have the best quality products, best quality services to serve clients. So build that belief, build on it. There's so many different ways you can build it. Like, again, if you've accomplished something before, you can figure out, how was I able to accomplish it, and take that process and create it and use it in the present world as well. um, Belief is important. I know a lot of us sometimes think, we're not good enough, there's someone better out there. We deal with imposter syndrome. But also, imposter syndrome is a good sign for me, because it's a sign for you that you're leveling up. So when you're leveling up, it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's not going to feel like rainbows and butterflies. So when you have that self-doubt or imposter syndrome, just know it's a sign that you're meant to move up. And because when you're moving up, you're going into uncertainty. You're not sure what's going to happen. So you have to learn to embrace it. But know you have the tools, the resources, the talents, and skills to get there, even if you have no clue how you're going to do it. L is for leverage, partnering across teams. A lot of us think we have to do this work alone, when really it's important to leverage other people's skills and talents, create a network, create a team, so that you can do the work together. So AI-powered QA requires collaboration across teams. So a lot of us think we have to be a one-man show, and really you don't. You can leverage tools and resources to make the work easier, faster, and better. So leverage relationships with developers, product managers, data scientists, business leaders. QA becomes a bridge between technology, risk, and customer trust. So again, you don't have to do this alone. Be able to leverage your relationships, be able to create those relationships, and you give the work to the people that you're not good at, right? If there's something you're not good at, there's a position there that can help you lead that, and then you focus on your skill and talents in QA. So again, you don't need to do this alone. AI is a great way to leverage what we do. Also, building relationships, right? Being in this conference, don't be afraid to make relationships with people who've attended, right? Just say hi and ask what they do, and it could form a relationship, or you collaborate on something else. But leverage that. Leverage is so important. We don't have to do everything alone, right? And I think this is something we need to reframe as well. And then E is elevation, leading ethical AI adoption. Leadership means advocating for responsible AI. QA leaders can elevate quality by ensuring transparency in AI decisions, bias detection in automated systems, and clearer accountability for AI outcomes. Quality engineering becomes a guardian of trustworthy AI. So it's important to level up, and also elevation means that as we're leveling up, we're bringing others with us as well. In order to create more leaders, we have to do that as well. So don't be afraid to bring others with you. That's just how we create more and more leaders. I've seen a lot of people who have been mentored, and they don't know what to do after, because there's no sponsorships, there's no people out there who helps them get into those leadership positions. So don't be afraid to bring others with you as you're leveling up. So that's the visible framework. I hope you enjoyed that, and feel free to let me know which one was your favorite, or which one is your favorite pillar. And so here's a case example: visibility in action. A QA team implemented AI-based prioritization. The initial challenge was stakeholders did not trust the algorithm. So what changed? QA leaders explained how the model worked. They connected insights to business risks. They demonstrated human oversight, and the result was higher confidence in AI adoption and faster release cycles. So hopefully you can utilize this, you can screenshot this, so you can use it in your own examples as well as you're doing the work. And so here's some key takeaways. To lead an AI-powered QA, make AI understandable through clear communication, maintain human judgment in automated systems, use visibility to build across teams. The future of QA is not just automated, it is human-led and AI-enabled. So what you bring to the table does matter, right? Even though there's a lot of processes that will be automated, the human part of it is important, having that human connection, because this is how everything will work in a way that will create a positive impact. And so I want to lead with this final thoughts. AI may transform the tools we use, but leadership will always depend on confidence, clarity, and visibility. When QA professionals lead with visibility, they shape the future of trustworthy AI. And so that's the end of the presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like, you can connect with me by scanning the barcode. It goes to all my social media links, my websites, my books, a free toolkit on the visible framework. But I hope you've enjoyed this, and I think we might have some time for questions. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I hope it's helped you also see yourself as a leader, and you hopefully you utilize the visible framework to help you in your own careers as well. Again, what you bring to the table is important. Without having, quality products, you won't be able to have um, happy clients. So I'm just going to exit the screen and stop sharing. But yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much, Sheena, for sharing your visible framework. It's by nature that QA typically tries to work behind the scene. They give all info, but they try to be behind the scene, and let other people make all the call to the next stage or to make a decision. But it is important for QA to be confident and be visible, like you had mentioned. Also have that identity. It's so important. I got a couple of questions. We have few minutes, so maybe
Okay.
some time to answer. So which part of the visible framework you think is more important for leadership in QA?
Honestly, I think for me, it's the spotlight. Like you mentioned, you do a lot of behind the scenes work, and it's so important to showcase your work, to talk about the work that you've done. Because again, your results won't speak for yourself. I grew up in a culture where I told just work hard, and the results will speak for yourself. And that's never the case, right? Sometimes I'm just seen as a hard worker. And I don't want that to happen, especially for QA professionals, because again, the worst thing that can happen is your work is someone will take credit for your work. Like the movie that I mentioned that I just saw yesterday, like the accountant did all the work, gave it to her superior, he went to the meeting and took her name off and took credit for it, even though she put in the time and effort. So I know sometimes it's really uncomfortable to showcase that because we think, oh, I'm being arrogant, I'm being too much, but it's not. Like you put in the time and effort. It is also important to share it as well, to talk about it, because it's also a leadership quality to advocate for your own work. So for me, spotlight is really important. It's something that needs to be done, especially in this ever evolving world. Like I mentioned, once AI is going to automate a lot of things, but it's not going to automate leadership, confidence, resilience. That's going to be the skills that we need now more than ever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like you mentioned, QA, we do lots of work than we get credit for. But I like to brag about that. But yeah, but it is important to have that confidence and the spotlight. Yeah. So another question around the leadership. What does leadership look like in the AI driven world today?
I think for me, it's just being able to take action on it, right? Like for me, when I first started utilizing AI, I didn't know what I was doing. I just said I'm gonna play around with it. I'm gonna figure it out. And it starts with curiosity, right? You're curious about it, like how do I use this? What can I do with it? And then, it's like learn, do, and teach, right? You learn something, you do it, and then you teach others. And that, for me, I think that's what leadership is. You keep, learn, do, and teach, and people will trust you because you went through that, right? You understand why, someone is struggling because you've been through those struggles before and you were able to overcome it. So, when they see your actions, they can say, oh, okay, if she was able to do it, I can do this as well. This is something that that will work for me as well. So yeah, for me, being a leader is just having that learn, do, and teach. And the more you keep doing it, people will see that.
Awesome. Thank you very much. One more question. Do you have time for that?
Yeah.
Very quickly. Yeah. So, what is one way QA team can make impact more visible around their organization? Like I said, QA tend to work behind the scene and provide all the information for
Yeah.
decision makers. But how do we be in the spotlight?
I mean, I think it's important to, like, if there's a meeting, be in those meetings, right? Do the best you can to be in those meetings, to share your ideas. If there's like a suggestion box, do that. If there's like a Slack chat, share that. Like, there's so many different ways to show up. Um, and sometimes it's like even just having a coffee chat with your superior, right?
Mhm.
Like that can be a way. And you don't have to have any like ulterior motive. It's just creating that relationship, because it's important to create that relationship so they can get to know who you are. And when something arises, they can remember, oh, I remember having a coffee chat with so and so. And, I think they might be the right person for it. So being visible isn't about, again, being in front of every person, being everything everywhere all at once. It's about being in front of the right decision makers, the right audience, being intentional and being strategic about it. So, like if there's a position you applied for, ask somebody like, oh, what do I need to prepare for this, right? What questions do I need to look at? What are some of the things do I need to prepare for so that I can give the best like interview? So again, just being in front of the right decision makers.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you very much. And we are running out of time.
Okay.
I would like to convey my thank you to you for sharing the insight about leadership as well as introducing the visible framework. I think that is something very important for a leadership within QA. Um, so the rest of the speakers are lined up. So if there are any other questions, I would recommend our audience to send it to us, and maybe we will share this question to you, and
Okay.
we can answer to them offline. And also we have a networking session that's coming up later. Maybe we'll find some time to answer those questions as well. Again,
Yeah.
Sheena, thank you very much for sharing your framework.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. And thank you for all the love. I saw all the claps. So thank you. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.